Am I live? Waiting to see if I'm live. Am I live? Am I here? Am I here? I don't know. My software is, it says I am. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. My software wasn't working. Ah, good morning. I'm live from St. Louis. Oh, here I am. Aha! My software has caught up with me. Good morning, everybody. It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world, ex-truck driver. As you, oh, thanks, Todd. As you can tell by my voice, I'm in St. Louis. Heat. The heat from my condo's heating system dries out my voice. Florida has helped my voice a ton. And now that I have my nightly breathing apparatus that actually keeps me from dying every night. Oh, hang on. I want to change my background real quick. Where's it? There we go. Settings, virtual background. I want to add one. Where's it at? There we go. Ha ha. Booyah. Yes, we are up against Mr. Smith. My friends, all of the Mr. Smiths are out today. We have Lagarde. We have Janet Yellen. What? You talk about irony. Her last name is Yellen. And she's about to be yelling, everything's okay. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Everything's wrong. Everything. All right, guys. Now, after today's show, in about 25 minutes, I'm jumping over to Patreon, and I'm going to continue this little rant that I'm going to get going here. Everything's wrong. The system from the beginning was corrupt. The system is designed to be corrupt. It's not like an honest system went bad. It's a bad system doing its job. That's it. It's like seeing a rattlesnake and looking at it and going, oh, it's a little puppy. Then you go over to it and it bites the shit out of you and you die. And then you're like, wow, that little puppy was angry. No, that's a rattlesnake. The system is corrupt. It was made corrupt. Yes, exactly. Robert nails it. Creature from Jekyll Island. Isn't it? Like, we've all heard the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's a scientist. Remember who wrote this? Remember why it's popular? It's a scientist who has an alter ego that is crazy. He wrote that talking about the system, that the system has one face, but on the inside is evil. Yeah. He, and this is true. Look it up. The Fed is pumping $2 trillion into the system. Let me give you an idea of something. Now, I may not have my numbers exactly right, but I'm not off by much. 1 million seconds is approximately, I think, like a year and a half or 2 years, something like that. All right. Or no, maybe it's 32 days. But 1 trillion seconds ago, there were dinosaurs here. Something like that. It's that big of a difference. Like back in the old days, you never heard the word trillion. You had to ask somebody what comes after a billion. And they'd be like, well, I don't know. I do. 1 trillion seconds is 31,688 years. 1 million seconds is 11 days. So let's look at that. If you had $1 million, but it cost you, right? If they charged you $1 for every second and you had $1 million, you'd last 11 days. But if you had $1 trillion, you'd last 31,000 years. There's a little bit of a difference between $1 million and $1 trillion. Just a fuzz. Give or take a weekend. Not including leap years, of course. My friends, the system, Lagarde, Yellen, the Fed, and shout out to Mrs. Woods or Miss Woods. I don't remember her first name, but she runs a hedge fund. She bitch slapped the Fed yesterday on prime time television. She laid down the gauntlet on the Fed when asked, how do you see the Fed managing this banking crisis? She held nothing back. Yes, Katie Woods. She said the Fed caused the crisis. That I think she used like the word assassin or something. That the Fed was the culprit. Yeah, she said culprit. That the Fed was the culprit of all of the banks getting crushed. And she's right. She's absolutely right. Let me tell you why these banks and the rest of the banks are going to go to shit because of the bonds. All right? A year ago, the bonds were sitting at nothing. But that was the safe play. 2 years ago, sitting at nothing. The bonds were a safe play. But now, raising the interest rates as fast as they did, remember, these were 2-year bonds. So they did not anticipate this quick of an interest rate hike. They didn't think they'd raise interest rates this fast, so it affects the 2-year bond. Now, the bonds they're holding are maturing, so they have to sell them and buy new ones, and the new ones have a negative return of the interest rate. So basically, you're taking what didn't cost you anything and you're buying something that cost you something now. You're losing money. You're losing value in quote unquote the most stable asset in the world, a U.S. Treasury bond. It ain't so stable, folks. So now, remember, these banks are holding the bonds as a reserve against their business. These are the bonds that are backing their books. Bingo. Robert once again bringing in some knowledge. The Fed said it wouldn't raise until 2024. People took him seriously. They're like, well, hell, if you're not going to raise until 2024, I'll buy a 2-year bond. I'm not going to make any money, but I'm not going to lose that much either. They lied. Right. Then they raised the rates from 1 to 5. And now folks, you have to appreciate the situation that we's in. And yes, I did write something on my hand on my morning drive that I want to talk about. But so they tell them one thing, right? Think about it like this. Let's say that you go to the bank and you get a loan for a car. And it's a 5-year loan. So you get it. Well, 2 years into the loan, they go, oh, by the way, we're going to need you to pay that back now. Huh? Yeah, we're going to need you to pay that back. But it's a 5-year loan. Yeah, I know we lied. I don't have the money. You see, that's a problem. And the Fed and the government is acting like the banks did something wrong. These banks need regulated. What? No, these banks don't need regulated. The Federal Reserve needs to quit putting the Federal Reserve boot on the neck of these smaller banks. But I digress. I am not sympathizing with the banks, my friends. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. They are part of the system. Now the system's eating them, and they're not happy. So the banks are all like, hey, wait a second. What? We played the game. And the Fed's like, yeah, now the game killed you. Sorry about that. You know, it's like, I thought we were friends. Well, we were. But, sorry. Yes. The Fed introducing their plan in July. Yes. It came out yesterday that the Federal Reserve is launching Fed Now in July. Oh, how wonderful. Anybody remember Obamacare? How smooth of a rollout that was? That was a system in case you had a sniffle. This is a global monetary system that will manage and, as they say, balance, i.e. control the whole world. What the hell could go wrong? I mean, the Feds are doing it. Have you ever watched a slow car crash? This is going to be a fast car crash. They're going to launch it. It's going to die. Then they're going to go, hey, Bob, let's try this again. Unplug it and plug it back in. That'll fix it. That's what we have to look forward to, folks. Government IT help. Anybody ever try to call the IRS? Anybody? Please hold. We will be right with you right after hell freezes over and pigs learn how to fly. One of our service technicians will be right with you. Please hold. Next thing you know, it's your birthday. That's what we're dealing with here. This is not going to go smoothly. Cliff High put out I think it was a video, and Cliff High knows some people, right? He knows people like working on this software, and they're like, this thing ain't running. This thing ain't, we can't get it out of the test bed without it shitting itself. Do you know what a test bed is? That's where like 4 people use software. And it's like, yeah, we're still having issues. These people are wanting to launch this in July to the American people. So, oh yeah, that was a great excuse. Due to COVID, we have unusually high call volumes. No shit. COVID did that too? Wow. Boy, COVID did a lot. That was a busy little virus. I mean, it was doing all kinds of stuff, fucking with trains, supply chains. You couldn't get lettuce for a while. I'm pretty sure that COVID actually gave me a flat tire once. It was busy. You know, that shit had something to do. You know, it's a busy little virus. And now, speaking of that, Sleepy Joe Biden has legislation on his desk waiting to be signed to authorize the investigation into the origins of COVID. Do we really need this antique's signature to figure out where the hell COVID came from? I'm going to tell you something. And if you did not know this, then this will be a surprise. But if you did know this, this reinforces. Do you know the name of the lab in China? Anyone? The Wuhan Corona Biolab. That's the sign outside of the building. Wuhan Corona Biolab. So when somebody a block away catches corona at the fish market, mind you, it wasn't a bat market. It wasn't people going down there and getting a bat sandwich. What would you like, Steve? You know what? Screw all that normal shit. Give me one of them barbecue pats right there. Yes, the thing that looks like a mouse with wings. Yeah, let me slice a big chunk of meat off of that thing. Does any of this make sense, people? See, this is why, now mind you, I got about 4 minutes left here. Heads up, click the link, join the Patreon, because this is what I'm going to talk about on Patreon. Good. I wrote on my hand, coats and costumes confuse. All right. Why do you think Janet Yellen is coming out today to talk? Is she going to explain it in just a way that we all don't understand, that what is right in front of us isn't happening? Is she going to explain the obvious? Or is she going to come out and put the spin on it? See, I've talked about this in the past. When my dad was diagnosed with leukemia-like cancer, I went in there and I talked to the doctor. The doctor was explaining it to me, and it made no sense. Everything she kept saying was contradicting what she had said a paragraph before. So I'm like, all right, so he comes in, you give him a test, right? You said you are testing for his baseline, but then the test results come back and you say a few of his numbers were low. Low against what? The average baseline. Okay, but you just said that his baseline was unique and that he's not outside of not dying. Like, it's not like he's on the verge of death here. He felt fine till he came in here, and you tell him that now he's going to die. Yes. So what's his actual baseline? It's this. All right. What makes you think he's dying? Which way is his baseline going? Is it going up or is it going down? Well, we don't know. All right, well, what if it's going up? Well, we're not going to assume it, but you're going to assume that it's going down. Yes. Why would you assume anything? Why not wait 6 months and do it on the baseline? Well, we don't want to wait that long. Is it because you're fucking bored? Is it because one of your last patients died, so you have an opening on the calendar? And once again, what's your treatment for this? Well, we're basically going to poison your father until we heal him. What? So you're going to make him more sick, hoping he gets better. Yes. I literally looked at the gal and I said, "You're a fucking idiot." My dad goes, Ben, stop. She's a doctor. And I go, no. I said, hand me your coat. Then maybe my dad will listen to me. I digress. But I'm not going to digress for long. I'm going over to Patreon. Click the link under here. Join the Patreon and join the party. Come on. It's Thursday. You got nothing better to do than hear me bitch for another hour. Love you guys. See you in 10 minutes. Bye-bye.